Hello everyone, my name is Tommy.
And I'm PJ.
And welcome back to the Episodic Anime Podcast. We are doing another episode of Chainsaw Man. Last episode, they went into the Infinity Hotel. And they got confused and lost. And they had to, kill Genji, all that stuff. And then it ended with Genji jumping into a hole of a monster. This episode does a little recap like I just did. And then it shows him jumping into the monster. And then he gets immediately eaten. And everyone's in awe and going, wow, he really did just die. But then he busts out with his chainsaws and he just starts kicking Krev. I got to be honest, it's really cool. It's a really cool scene. I love this scene a lot. The wall/house is fighting back and eventually it snaps his neck and he drops down on the floor and he's dead. But Himino, she uses her ghost hand to pull on his cord and restart him. And then he jumps up with some words of Eureka moment. And he starts drinking the demon's blood. That's the new ability I was talking about. He's like a chainsaw. He uses blood as gasoline. And so he just infinitely recycles this demon's blood while cutting it in half repeatedly. And fast forward 3 days where everyone's tired and exhausted for not being able to eat for about 3 days. He's just been going to town on this demon, this devil down in a hole. And eventually the devil doesn't even want to have it anymore. And he goes, look, man, stop. Here's my heart. Please just kill me. I don't want to be here anymore. And Denji does not care. He goes, yeah, all right, cool. Cuts him in half, finds a piece of the gun devil, and they exit, which I got to be honest is one of the best scenes when they come out of the hotel and they're all just standing there and they look disheveled and Denji's covered in blood. And they're like, we did it, man. It's like we've taken a huge shit. Wow. And they just walk away. I'm like, very cool, very cool. Meanwhile, we got some of Himeno's backstory where she hangs out with my favorite character and a little bit more of Aki. But, my favorite character has a banger line where, devils fear devil hunters who have a few screws loose and then they don't have a screwdriver. That will be said multiple times throughout the show. But I'll tell you what, Himo doesn't have a few screws loose because she's actually worried about losing Aki. She doesn't want Aki to be killed, and he has a feeling that if Aki goes after the gun devil, he will definitely die to the gun devil. Either way, shows Aki and Himino, and they're in an alley after they just killed a devil, and she starts asking some questions, some real questions that we need to ask, like, why is Denji so important to these devils? Why is Makima important to Denji? She hasn't left Tokyo in a while, and she normally goes on many trips, but she hasn't left it. Maybe it's because Denji. What is the answers behind these questions? I can't tell you, but I do know the answer. Then we get to go to this party. They want to introduce the newbies. They want to be like, look, these greenhorns, they're new. They need to be introduced. And they go to a bar and grill, and they get a bunch of cool Japanese food, sushi, and all this other stuff. And for the most part, they're drinking. And it is revealed that Denji is maybe 16. We don't really know. Denji said, I think I'm 16. And then that makes the oldest one there get concerned and go, what have you been drinking if you're 16? And he's like, oh, man, I've been drinking tea. Well, everyone's been drinking beer. Denji was responsible. He's like, yeah, I've been drinking tea. That doesn't matter, though, because as Makima shows up, they start off with a drinking battle where Aki looks at Makima and go, hey, can you give me some information on why Denji's important? And she goes, oh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. If you can outdrink me, I'll tell you some information. And Aki's like, oh, you're on. And Himino, because she's an alcoholic, is like, yeah, I'll join that too. And Himino and Aki get put under the table because Makima is apparently just a tank when it comes to drinking because she wasn't even fazed by the amount of beers that were on that table. Himino, she decides it's time to give Denji his kiss. And it seems like it's going well, and it's very cool. And Makima's like, oh my, and all that stuff. And I think the animators are cowards because when she puked into his mouth, it was censored. What type of crap shit is that? I'll tell you what, I read the manga, and they showed it in the manga. I mean, it's not animated, so it is just a still drawing picture. But PJ, how'd you feel about the puke time?
I almost threw up over it. I will not lie to you. He's like, this is puke. Ah! My gag reflex kicked in real hard. I was trying to laugh and throw up at the same time. So I was like, what?
PJ, I don't think if I gave you 100 guesses last episode, you would have ever guessed this outcome.
No, I would not have.
So he ends up in the bathroom puking, and he makes fun of. He has a flashback when he's a kid. He's making fun of rats for eating pukes. He's like, I really feel bad for you as a fellow mammal. Fast forward to him vomiting because he just got puke in his mouth, and he's like, bro, this isn't what I wanted. And then the dude's like, man, I think you're lucky because, you got cool skills. He's like, I just waited 16 years for my first kiss, and it was puke. And he starts throwing up again. Well, the side effect of that was Denji gets drunk now because he just got a lot of puke that's mainly alcohol. And Denji's never drank before. So now Denji's theoretically drunk. And so he's kind of passing out. And after everyone's leaving this party, Makima goes, hey, where's Denji? And it reveals that Himino has picked up Denji and taken him to her house. And thus, the weirdest scene takes place where she's like, what are you doing in my house? And just kind of sits on him. And you're like, what's going on here? Hold on. And Denji, he's sitting there, the room's spinning, he's drunk kind of. He's on the flow down. And then they pop a question, PJ. She asked Denji, hey, you want to do it? Anyway, that's the end of this episode. But yeah, that was this episode. That was the recap of Chainsaw Man, which I believe this episode was called Taste of a Kiss or something like that. Well, we are going to go into Raw. This is not for YouTube. So if you're listening on YouTube, go ahead and hop over to Spotify. The link is down in the description. We will, on Spotify, go into more detail about the episode, have PJ's opinions in total, and just flesh it out a little bit more and talk more in depth about the episode. However, you don't want to listen to that, just stay here because we're about to go into predictions. However, if you're here for Spotify, let's get into the Raw. Welcome to the prediction area. PJ, let's start with your prediction.
All right, I'm hitting it strong. There's a 75% chance this man is not getting laid. He's not getting laid. Listen, man, feeling tits and getting kissed is realistic. But straight up, doing the dirty with a partner ain't happening. Maybe 25% chance, but ain't happening.
May I remind you, both of these characters are drunk.
But the second you realize what's going on, he ain't doing it. You'd be like, whoa.
Wow, you have a lot of faith in Denji. I gotta be real. So that's predictions, and that's normally where we end the episode. However, I'm doing a new segment instead of just giving you spoilers and just being like, now figure it out. Well, here's some spoilers. I'm going to elaborate upon it by giving you one thing. I will tell you one fact that happens, and then I will tell you two lies. Just to let you, I won't tell you which one's the lies. I won't tell you which one's the truth. I'll just let you sit on them until next episode. And maybe these are for next episode. Maybe they're for a few episodes in advance. Who's to say? But I'm going to give you 3 things. I'm going to give you a very easy one that you can tell is a lie, one that you don't know, and one the truth, which could also that you might know. All right? How about that?
Okay.
How you feel that?
Okay.
That way it's more of a 50-50, but there's still 2 lies and a truth. First fact. Denji goes swimming. How you feeling so far?
I don't know how much I believe you.
Oh, you don't want to believe me on Denji goes swimming?
I don't know how much I believe that.
Okay. You don't believe that. Okay. Oh wait, let me elaborate. Can I elaborate a little bit more on the Denji goes swimming?
Yeah.
Denji goes skinny dipping.
That's more believable, okay?
Okay. Second, Makima dies. Yeah. Now you don't know what to do. Third fact, Denji eats food. A giant steak dinner. All right. I'll let you just sit there and contemplate what those mean. 2 of them are false. 1 of them is a truth. Tell me what you think.
Him getting steak is obviously the truth here.
Okay. You think him getting steak. What about the skinny dipping one? Or the Makima dies?
Listen, man, if he goes skinny dipping, we're gonna have some issues. Because, hey, it better be with Eye Patch Lady, or I'm going to lose it. You can make a cool little thumbnail part or with my face that says PJ approves this stamp or ship. Boom.
Yeah, right. I think that's going to be the thumbnail. I can do that for you. I can do that, yeah. I'm going to need a picture of you with a thumbs up.
Got it.
That ends it for today's episode. It's a little bit of a short one because not a lot was left for the imagination for predictions. So if you want a little bit more this week, definitely head over to Spotify and check that out because we did talk a little bit more. But it was a light episode. I mean, to be real, half of it was Denji attacking a dude and the other half was a cool dinner date. However, next week, I think we get stuff rolling again in the actions category. So hopefully you guys join us for the next episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe and give us 5 stars. And thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.
Bye.